So what you're looking at over here is the dashboard of one of my clients who's currently selling a high ticket coaching offer, helping people get into ecom. And over the past 24 days, we've done $38,400 cash collected and $57,500 in revenue, which is absolutely insane to think, just because before he started working with us with the exact same audience and someone else who was helping him with his funnels and etc., he was only doing $500 to $1,000 cash collected per month, which is, just insanity, right? And if you look, like the only KPI that I would say isn't that good right now is the closing rate. But this was fixed. Obviously, once we initially launched up, he had a fairly, it was an okay Instagram audience, but it was extremely cold. So it was kind of harder to convert those people, but we did fix it up. And if you look over the past 11 days, we had a 50% closing rate, which is definitely a massive improvement, right? Now, you're hearing this, you're like, okay, this is cool, but, how is this actually going to help me? Right. Well, what I've done here is I went over every single adjustment, every single implementation that we made for him, just so that you can literally just copy it. Right. If you have a coaching business right now, you can just take everything that I tell you in this video and just implement it into your coaching business. And if you don't have the coaching business yet, that's totally fine as well. I'm sure this is going to be very interesting for you. And there's a lot of marketing tactics that you can learn here. So obviously I'm going to go deeper into each one over here, but let me just first cover what I'm going to be going over. So I'm going to be covering how we helped him actually optimize his content for, not more views, but being able to convert the viewers that he's already getting, more of those. Then obviously we had to understand the offer as well as he did. We did some market research, built out a new offer hit for him. At the end of the day, the deliverables were the exact same, just we've reframed the offer. Then obviously helping him build out a better backend so we can get better student results. Helping him, obviously the most important part, the funnel and the sales process. These were definitely the two biggest needle movers. Other than that, we also helped him onboard all of these new clients because we were getting quite a few of them, and then fulfill for these clients. And eventually, well, not eventually, but now what we're doing is we're scaling him up with ads, right? He has, the cash into his coaching business, right? He has quite a bit sitting around. So what we're doing now is we're scaling him up with ads so we can also get better results next month and maintain such numbers, right? Which is really cool. Now, let me start with content optimization, just because if nobody knew what he was selling, how are they supposed to buy something that they didn't even know exists, right? This is something that I say in all of my videos just because of how important it is, right? So what we're utilizing is the three most important platforms for coaches and creators. And let me just break them down quickly and kind of what the use case scenarios are. So obviously with Instagram, Instagram and TikTok. And these are the most effective platforms for getting as much traffic as possible. After that, we were also using YouTube pretty heavily because this is the most effective platform for nurturing all of this new traffic. And then Instagram is the most effective platform for actually converting this traffic, right? So obviously, this sounds cool, but obviously I'm going to break it down in a second now. So we weren't really using TikTok too much, but we were using Instagram. So I'm going to be breaking down what we did on Instagram and what we did on YouTube. Now, obviously, when people follow him on Instagram, there's kind of a little bit of a process here. So first, we have a link in bio and stories that go over to YouTube, right? Because we still want them to see his YouTube content to further nurture them. But you may be asking yourself, well, why not just instantly drive them to YouTube, right? Well, because there's specific features that we need to take advantage of on Instagram. Instagram is the best platform for features and conversion. And the main feature is the story sequence feature. Now, if you can even just dial this one thing into your coaching business, you're going to double your coaching business in the next month or two. And I guarantee you that just because of how effective story sequences are. Now, this is just an example of a story sequence. Obviously, you can just post this really onto your story. But what we also did is we used the close friends feature. We had a close friends spot, which pretty much just added everybody who was following him into his close friends list. And then whenever they'd go on the app, his story would immediately get pushed to the very front for everyone because they were inside of his close friends list. And what that allowed us to do was to 5 to 10x his story viewers, which is really, really cool, right? Now, what was the actual story sequence that we posted? It was actually very, very simple, right? So all it said was big announcement. The last part of the year is where I make most of my money from my brands. Just look at my dashboard. And this is only one of my stores. Next story. But it's not just me who's printing. Just look at one of my students who made 48K in 30 days with one store. Or my other student who's done 21K in 28 days, right? Next story. So if you're looking to take care of you and your family in 2025, this is your chance. I'm looking to take on 5 new students who will be working with me one-on-one to make their first 100K by dropshipping supplements, right? This is his niche, supplement dropshipping. Next story. So for those who want to take 2025 their year, apply here, right? And then it said only 5 spots available, as I'm busy actually running my own stories, unlike all of these gurus. So act fast. Now, the reason we had a link here, usually I recommend people to do a DM call to action, but the guy that we were working with, Mo, who is our client now, he wanted to launch it extremely quickly, and we didn't even have enough time to place a DM setter. So this was literally like first day pretty much. Or no. This was day 2 or 3. But we didn't have enough time to get a DM setter. Obviously, we have one completely dialed in now, completely trained. He has all of our SOPs and everything, but that was just extremely early, and we wanted to get that proof of concept. Just because before we started working with him, we were like, why is this guy only doing $500 to $1,000 a month? Like, there must be something completely wrong with the offer, and we just wanted some proof of concept. Now, the reason why we're actually running these story sequences is because story sequences allow him to not spend even more time creating content, and he doesn't need to find new people who need to go through the value funnel of getting to know him, like him, and trust him, right? Because we don't want to be competing with everyone else with these new leads. Every single time you post a new piece of content about, let's say, about e-commerce, you're competing with everyone else who's also posting content about e-commerce for these new leads, right? And posting story sequences is tapping into a huge warm lead list, which, by the way, isn't your email list. And it's a list of leads who already know, like, and trust you, right? And it's a list of leads that are going to buy even if there's no absurd guarantee, even if it's a $5,000 plus price tag, and even if the product isn't that great, right? Now, obviously, I already told you guys I'm talking about your story views, right? Now, the reason why this works is that 90% of your story viewers are going to be your followers. And most of the people who follow you already have gone through the value funnel. So, it's not rocket science. That's why it works for those who are curious, right? Now, going over to YouTube, this was definitely the biggest part of our strategy. And these people, obviously they closed at the highest rate. So before we started working with him, he was heavily pushing top of funnel content because he was under the impression that the more views he got, the more money he'd make, right? He was pushing top of funnel content, for example, day in the lives, very broad content, right? And this wasn't really getting him customers. So we instantly shifted to posting bottom of funnel and middle of funnel content, which attracted those people who were doing supplement dropshipping and framed Mo as an industry leader inside of his video, right? For example, non-guru explains how to print 100K a month with supplement dropshipping, or give me 10 minutes and I'll make you rich with supplement dropshipping, or F it, here's how I blew up with supplement dropshipping, store it to, 1.2 mil, right? This is pretty cool just because in every single title he's saying supplement dropshipping, and then it's only going to be it's going to be attracting those people who are already doing supplement dropshipping, which is a pretty small niche. So he's able to pretty much maximize this niche. And before us, he also wasn't doing very heavy call to actions. He was just at the end of the video, he'd be like, yeah, if you guys want my mentorship, click the link in the description. But we completely changed this up. We told him, if you want to learn more about supplement dropshipping and either start making your first few sales or scale your existing store, I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can get coached one-on-one by me. This is for you whether you want to hit your first 10K month or 100K month. For those who are interested, I've instructed my team to be very selective with those who they let in. If you get accepted and become one of my students, I will be teaching you on one-on-one calls, and you'll have my 24/7 support. So I don't want to work with anyone who isn't motivated. So if you want the highest chance of being accepted, make sure you provide as much detail when filling out the form, right? Pretty simple stuff here. And then obviously we have the description here where he pretty much just says, if you want to learn more about supplement dropshipping and the reality of it, apply here to work with me. Then we had, the VSL page, free guide on how to start supplement dropshipping. This was our opt-in, and then follow me on IG. Obviously keep the people who aren't ready to buy his program yet, we're going to keep them inside of the loop and keep nurturing them, right? And these pages right here, I'm going to break down on the 4th step of the process, which is the funnel and asset creation, right? So now we're getting a ton of traffic, but we need to actually build out the offer, build out the funnel, build out the sales process, and etc. Which means that we need to understand his offer as well as he does, right? Which is why we do market research, and we do market research for every single one of our clients. And the most important thing when doing market research is to get data, right? Because your audience decides what you sell and not you. So we need to talk to the market so that we know what to sell. And step number 1 of this was brainstorming what people would want. then having a conversation with the followers to extract the pain points and understand their beliefs. And to get a good kind of general idea of what people would want to buy is if you have if you have less than 10,000 followers, you need to do DMs and calls. And if you have more than 10,000 followers, you need to do a type form and calls. Right. So this is exactly what he did. He had more than 10,000 followers. So we did a type form plus a call. And then on Instagram, we had a story poll, Calendly, type form, and DMs. But if you want to do YouTube or you have a different audience, just to give you guys the examples, YouTube would be type form and Calendly. X or Twitter would be type form and Calendly, and emails would also be type form and Calendly. But calls are key, right? It's just because you're able to dive so much deeper onto the pain points, and you want to be asking these exact questions on the calls. And this is exactly what we did too. What is the promise or the dream land? The problem, the journey of potential clients, the problem list, the desires, the desired situation. What is the gap? How do they bridge the gap? Unique selling proposition and unique selling proposition detail. Reasons to believe, features and benefits, the product deliverables, high ticket offer sales argument, customer verticals, potential questions, and objections that could happen on the sales call. And then step number 2 of this process is analyzing these, they're not sales calls, but these market research calls, right? And talking with current clients, which you already had. And from these sales calls, you want to analyze the common objections, the big problems, the main bottlenecks, why they got on the call, what they did, what did they say before and after buying, and what to talk about with the previous clients, or are they getting results? Yes or no? Are they grateful? Do they enjoy the community? Do they find the product useful? What would they change, and would they buy it again? And keep in mind, while using this process, the goal here is to gather as much data as possible, deeply understand the ideal customers, understand your audience, and extract those pain points, and creating your unique selling proposition depending on your specific audience, not your specific, well, depending on your specific audience and not on, just what you want to sell yourself, right? That's extremely important. And once you really, really deeply understand your ideal customer, you can move over to creating your offer. And the most important thing when creating your offer is to use this new data, right? So you want to create the offer around what everyone inside of your market research said, right? So there's 2 types of offers that you can create. Number 1, we have the offer statement and the power offer. And the power offer is, the direct offer to people. And then, for example, the offer statement would be the first phrase on your sales pitch. So just, this is my offer. And then, people can just be like, I want it or I don't want it. And then a direct offer. So a power offer would be, for example, something that you'd say inside of an Instagram reel. And the offer statement is built with these 5 different mechanisms. So number 1, the quantifiable end result. Number 2, the time frame. Number 3, the risk reversal, the niche, and the unique mechanism. So obviously, if you guys have read $100 million offers by Alex Hormozi, you'd realize that this is just his offer framework, right? And if you want to build offer statement, it'd just be, I help niche do goal or final result in time frame using the unique mechanism without pain point and risk reversal, right? So as you can tell, it's extremely, extremely simple. And if you were to do a power offer, right, this is just an example of a power offer, huge announcement, this would be posted, by the way, in the school community or Discord, right? I probably get 10 messages every day of people out of the Discord asking me X, Y, Z. Because of this, I've spent the past 30 days writing and summarizing the exact 5-step process I've used to X, Y, Z. I don't care if you're X, Y, or Z. This applies to everyone doing X, and I want you to take full advantage of it. And to be honest, I've been gatekeeping this from everyone else for the past 2 years. And this is the exact same thing that I've read for the past 2 years, every X. Every single one. This isn't going to be the average information you get from watching YouTube videos. I've seen people charge 10K plus for these exact principles. And over the next 5 days, I'm going to be emailing all of them to you. Here's how it works. Over the next 5 days, I'll send 1 principle per day via email. You'll have the opportunity to read it, take notes, and instantly implement it into your trading strategy. I'm giving all of you in here early access, and I want every single one of you to take advantage of this opportunity. Join before it's too late. Right? So extremely simple. This would be an example for a trading power offer, but you can really use this for anything, right? Day trading, starting an agency, e-commerce, and etc. Right? So once you actually have your offer figured out, you know who your offer is for, and your content is optimized. Obviously, you need a product to sell to them, which is why we need to create a product now. Now, usually what I recommend, and what we also did for this over here, is coaching one-to-one. Right here, you're taking on 5 to 10 clients at a 4 to 10K price point over 30 to 120 days. You're doing weekly one-on-one calls, giving them text, and this always gets them the best results. And the way that we hosted the program for Mo, which is our client, is over WAP. So over the WAP, we can give them a course, a leaderboard, and challenges. We have the community on Discord, which is, here you guys can see an example of a community layout. And then we have the one-on-one plus group calls on Google Meet. And the goal here is to find a phrase that can sell itself, have a good product or service that can get crazy results, and use the platform that makes everything the more seamless, right? But essentially what we're doing here is we're building the supply for the demand, right? Now, once the offer is created and, the product is also created, we need to move into the funnel, which is the most important part of this entire process, right? And the key point here is quality over quantity. You want fewer leads that are actually qualified than lots of unqualified leads, right? So now you know exactly what you're selling. You know who you're selling to better than anyone knows themselves. And the offer is exactly what they need and they know it. But the problem here is that they need more information. They want to be, quote unquote, educational bias. And our goal here is to create a process which they'll go through in the marketing world, which we call through a funnel. And the funnel is entirely built on market research plus data, right? So everything that we researched here, we're going to be implementing for this funnel. And then obviously this funnel is based on the offer right here. So, we have two different funnels. First, we have Instagram, right? That's number one. And then we also have YouTube, right? Different funnels for different platforms. Now, let me actually start with Instagram. So the main two things on Instagram were number one, the reels, and number two, the stories. And with the stories, we were doing 5 to 10 stories per day minimum, right? So number one, they were building a daily ritual, which you can always show. For example, he was hitting the gym, playing basketball, working. He would always post this every day. Daily runs on, whatever. For example, here it would just be ecom related. So what happens after you hit 10K a month, or, things your parents tell you, etc., etc. Show one funny moment per day, something you see outside, a meme, etc. Break down one specific concept per day. So how you find suppliers, how to overcome limiting beliefs, and etc. And then show as many Shopify dashboards per day as possible, which is, pretty much just flexing. And the goal here, the more content you post, the more nurtured they're going to be. Obviously, this is going to take a lot of effort to post as many stories, but, this is also how we scaled from $500 a month to 60K a month in 24 days, right? And then after that, obviously, close friends is going to be a very big thing inside of here. So once every second day, we're going to be posting one story with close friends just to keep the close friends people active as well. And then also to get the close friends audience to start watching your normal stories as well. And then just get those people more engaged with you, right? It's a good way to retarget people that have followed you, let's say maybe 6 months ago or 7 months ago. And in our scenario, this guy was on Instagram for 2 years. So we could retarget so many people. And then we'd have two times call to action stories per week. That would be their story sequences. And we would have one light one, which would be, after every 5 to 6 stories. And then we'd also have one strong one, which would be inside of the close friends. And that would be using a DM funnel. And obviously now we have the setter dialed in as well, who would, actually talk to all of these new people who are reaching out. And would also have the setter outbounding all of the people who watch the strong story CTA. Obviously not all of them, but all of the guys who kind of look qualified. Right. We weren't doing more than 200 outbounds per day. Right. Then reels, right? So it's reels 3 per day. Right now it's not been quite consistently 3 per day, but this is what we're going to start implementing in about 4 days from now. And 2 of these reels are going to be clipped from his YouTube channel, and 1 is actually going to be scripted by us. And this is just adding touch points, and then these are going to be posted. It says my name, posted by Lexi. Obviously, I have the access to his Instagram account, and the editor is going to make the screen black for the last 1 second and tell them to comment a keyword, right? Because obviously, when he's clipping from the YouTube videos, he's not going to be saying, comment keyword. So it's going to be black for the last 1 second, and then it's going to tell them to comment a keyword. And then we're going to connect a mini chat, or we already have one connected. We're going to be giving out free resources. This is going to be giving us people who kind of apply, and the setter is going to be retargeting all of these people. So extremely simple. Now, what you want to really be careful with is your appointment setter, because a bad setter, if you're the bad setter, you're missing out on 50% of the revenue, right? And the appointment, so make sure you have a good appointment setter. And the appointment setter has 2 tasks, right? Number 1, outbounding and inbounding. So inbounding is when someone messages the appointment setter, or, in our scenario, the client, Mo, and then the appointment setter needs to take this exact process with them. So we're going to have the initial message, then we're going to qualify them, identify the gap, transition into the call, propose the call, then they're going to be booking in, and obviously it's going to be going over to the closer's calendar. And then for outbounding, we're going to be messaging everyone who is a new follower or who comments or, whoever watches the story. And obviously this is also going over to the closer's calendar. So pretty simple in terms of the Instagram. You really don't need to overcomplicate it. And then with YouTube, it goes a little bit of a step further. So we have the top of funnel content, and the top of funnel content it wasn't giving us new customers, right? So what we transitioned to is focusing on bottom of funnel content and middle of funnel content. You see a few examples here, but essentially bottom of funnel content and middle of funnel content is already for people who are educated on supplement dropshipping, right? Or people who are coming from the top of funnel content and want to get educated about supplement dropshipping, right? So for example, here, give me 10 minutes and I'll make you rich with supplement dropshipping. Stop dropshipping cheap products from China. Do this instead. How to actually become a full-time dropshipper, and et cetera, et cetera. Essentially, just people who already know about supplement dropshipping are going to click on these videos, right? It's pretty simple. And what these are doing is they're attracting people, like I just said, who are already doing supplement dropshipping. The important thing is it's framing Mo as an industry leader, right? And longer videos, for example, here you can see 12 minutes, 38 minutes, and 21 minutes are going to give us more time to get them to know, like, and trust us. And then, like I broke down this description before, if you want to learn more about supplement dropshipping and the reality of it, apply here to work with me one-on-one. I'm about to break down this page in like 15 seconds. Free guide on how to start supplement dropshipping. This is the opt-in page. And then, like I said before, here, kind of just keep them in the loop, people who aren't just ready to buy it. So further, like I said, not ready to buy, push them over to Instagram. Now, the first link, main call to action, we're pushing them to this page right here. Right, now let me just break down the copy here real quick. Now it says this offer can be removed at any time, kind of just building that scarcity. And then it says the dropshipping niche nobody's telling you about that made me over $5 million and retired my mom with no upfront overhead and 65% margins, right? Then step 1 of 2, watch the video. We have this thing right here, which pretty much just makes them click on the video. And then step 2 of 2, book your free strategy call. We'll go over the exact next steps, which should be, and we will give you a custom roadmap to your success, right? And then we have the strategy call right here, where we're pretty much just saying, get a custom roadmap on how you can get your first sale or scale your current store as quickly as possible. Answer any questions about your any questions you have about e-commerce, and see if you qualify for most one-to-one help for your e-commerce store, right? So this is exactly what's going to be happening on the call. And we're kind of just making that clear here. And then here, obviously the calendar, we are using iClosed, right? And what iClosed allows us to do is it's kind of like Typeform, but it's like a calendar. So first off, they're going to fill this out, give us their phone number, give us the first name, and then give us the last name. And what we've done here is we've connected a Discord notification, right? It looks exactly like this. And then it says here, for example, this is just a test here. So it just says 7DE, but it says we've got a potential client, 7DE. This is my email. If you guys want to email me, you can. And then it's pretty much just giving them all of the information we have. And then after that, if we have no call that's getting booked in after 5 to 10 minutes based on this information, what we're going to do is we're going to have the appointment setter pretty much just dial them within 5 to 10 minutes, right? And then the second page here, which by the way, after here at the end, we're also going to be giving them some student results. We're still adding more results. We didn't really have that many to work with to begin with, but we have the student results at the bottom. And then the second call to action, be the next one, which just scrolls them up to the calendar again, where they can just book in a call. And then the second one that we have here, obviously we're going to need an opt-in where we're building the email list, and we're also dialing everybody who opts in, right? And all it says here is aspiring dropshippers, the niche nobody's telling you about that made me $2,451,000 last year with no upfront overhead and 65% margins. After they go here, unlock the secret, give their name, phone number, and email address, opt in, and then they just get redirected to this page right here. So no overcomplicated funnel that everybody's telling you to make, right? Really, really, really simple stuff. Now, obviously, we have all of these people from our funnel who are booking in and actually booking a call. So now we need to move over to the sales process. And the most important thing here is that we're taking full advantage of every single lead, right? You have to get the most out of every lead who gets into your funnel. Now, if you already have a sales team, you can just kind of chill here. Take your time, review the sales calls, the setting calls, the overall process, KPIs, and etc., and use the info to improve every detail. But if you don't, it's time to create your money-making machine, right? And at this point, the warm lead has kind of scheduled their call, but they're not ready for it yet. which is why we're going to be taking this exact process right here. So the person books in, and now there's an exact process which we're going to be taking. Now, part of the process is going to be what the setter and closer is going to be doing. So that's manually going to be happening. And then we also have part of the process, which is automated with automations, right? But let's start with the manual part of the process. So setter and closer, what are they doing? Well, immediately, what's happening is the lead books in within a 1 to 4 day time span, and the setter is going to create a WhatsApp group chat with the lead client included. Now, here it's just the client, here we have the Mo, who's our client, but if you're either the coach or creator, with client, it's pretty much just meant you, right? And they want the personal connection. So the setter is going to have the WhatsApp business group chat with Mo, second number. By the way, Mo is our client here, the guy who I'm breaking down over here. And it's going to allow us to have that one-on-one connection between the lead and the client, right? Step number 2, the client's going to send a message and tell them to check a doc. I can't give you guys this exact doc here, but if you're one of my clients, you know what I'm talking about. And then step number 3, the closer is going to talk with the lead. And all of this is happening immediately, right? Step number 4, 24 hours before, the setter is going to send a reminder for the call on WhatsApp plus IG. Step number 5, the 1 hour before, so step number 5, 1 hour before, the setter is going to send a reminder for the call on WhatsApp plus IG. Step number 6, the setter is going to send the link for the meeting 5 minutes before on WhatsApp and IG. So pretty simple manual process over here. The more of this process that you can actually get implemented into your coaching business, obviously the more money you're going to make, because the more people are going to show up to the call and the warmer these people are going to be showing up to the calls, right? And then obviously we have the automatic process as well, which is step number 1, page is immediately going to redirect, and it's going to redirect them to a page where it's just going to tell them to check their inbox. And step number 2 is going to be mail confirmation, so telling them to add the event to the calendar. And again, this is all happening immediately. Then step number 3, 24 hours before the call, automatic email and SMS reminder. 6 hours before the call, automatic email and SMS reminder. 1 hour before the call, automatic email and SMS reminder. And then 5 minutes before the call, they're also getting the link for the meeting on email and SMS. So they're getting the link for the meeting, email, SMS, WhatsApp, and Instagram. So it's really, really hard to miss for whoever's booking in, right? Now, let's say they don't show up to the call. Well, there's also actions that we need to take over here, right? Now, what are the manual actions? Well, we're going to wait 24 hours, and then we're going to dial them, right? Now, either if we get the call booked, that's cool, but if they don't respond, then they're going to be having a text, then a dial again, then another text, and we're going to repeat this process 4 times, right? By the way, the dialer or the setter is going to be doing this. And then we also have automated actions, right? So one of these emails are going to be every day for a week. And if they don't respond to those emails, we're going to add them into the newsletter, right? So first we're going to have a value email. We're going to have a CTA email. We're going to have a testimonial email. We're going to have a CTA email again, your transformation email. And then we're going to have a CTA email as well, right? Which just a standard email process, right? Now, how can you analyze your sales process? You may be asking yourself now, how can I find bottlenecks? Well, that's with your KPI tracking sheet. Now, by the way, if you guys want this KPIs tracking sheet, you can just DM me on Instagram and I'll send you guys over the link for those who are interested. But your business will grow faster only if you track it. Like every single person who I've asked who has a coaching offer doing over $100,000 per month, and I asked them, what do you think the main thing that helped you was? They always say tracking metrics, right? So every part of the process has to be tracked. Like, wait, I have this pulled up already. This is an example. Let me just give you guys the full KPIs. I think we launched this offer the 14th, I believe. Yeah, I think it was the 14th. But this is something that we have for all of our clients. I can't give this to you guys. I paid thousands and thousands of dollars for developers to create this for my clients so that we have a good overview. But this is an example, right? It's something that I have for my clients. My clients just can log onto this dashboard, see what the metrics are for the day, and just chill, right? They don't need to see anything crazy just because they have everything in one place here. But if you don't have that, you can also have a bunch of Google Sheets. We also have tons of Google Sheets for our clients, but every part of the process needs to be tracked, right? And there's a problem. You always need to find every single problem inside, every single bottleneck inside of your process needs to be found as quickly as possible so that you can solve it. For example, low closing rate, review the sales calls. No bookings, look at the traffic. Low show up rate, improve the pre-call assets, right? And et cetera, et cetera. Every lead will be put into the spreadsheet and every step needs to be tracked. The key points here are the calls booked, the pre-call assets consumed, the closing rate, the show rate, the average order value, the funnel conversion, the dials made, and the follow-up sent. And the goal here is to get as many qualified calls as possible, over a 50% close rate, kind of depending on your audience and where they're coming from, right? Don't waste any leads and build trust before the call. And this is essentially how the market is going to be getting the supply. But again, something that I want to make very clear is the closing rate really depends on your audience, right? Like some people are going to have insane closing rates because, for example, they're in a B2B audience and they're posting, warm YouTube videos. But other people who, let's say, they're in a much broader niche, like even for those people, having a 30% closing rate sometimes is still considered good. It's like some people just talk about the closing rate and they're like, why is my closing rate better than your closing rate? And it really comes down to the audience, right? For example, like for me, my closing rate is 90%, right? Which is which is cool, but it's also because my audience is more B2B and they're a little bit more mature, right? Now, obviously, we're getting all of these customers now. Now we need to actually onboard these people. And the important thing here is to make everyone feel special. Everyone should get an effortless experience of getting into your program and immediately get value to make them feel, part of something bigger. So invest into a client sales manager or put some time, a client student success manager or put some time into welcoming your students. Let's say a call gets closed and we receive the payment. Well, there's automated and there's manual actions we need to take here. Number one, immediately, we need an onboarding email and a video explanation, plus the first call booking. So just sending over the Calendly. And then after the first call, they need access to the community course or inner circle. And you can even give them access immediately if you wanted to, right? But obviously, you don't really want to confuse them. And then we also have manual actions. So 3 hours before the call, we're going to be sending them a message to confirm the first call. And then 1 to 2 days after the call, we're going to be setting everything up, plus scheduling the second call. Now, automatically, we want how the onboarding process is going to look like. We want a video showing them that. And then what's next? And then the first actions to do, right? This is misspelled, but, first. Don't know how that happened. Then onboarding process, what the journey is going to look like, making a roadmap and getting to know them. And the important thing here is to set the expectations of the journey, giving them an overview of how everything will go, understanding where they are and where they want to go, making a roadmap with them to get the desired state, giving them the first 10 steps and scheduling a second call to see their progress, right? And the important thing here is the goal here is to make everyone feel welcomed, right? Set everything up to get them better results, and then the market, the supply, so time to justify the purchase. Now, you may be asking yourself, okay, why are you putting so much effort into getting good results for these clients? Because it's so much easier to sell a coaching program once you have undeniable proof. Once people are like, okay, everyone who joins is getting results. How? They're also going to want to join. Like, if you're able to post student results on your story every day, if you're able to in every YouTube video advertise new student results, people are going to be like, why is he getting so many results? I want to join you. It kind of just builds a flywheel effect, right? So it's extremely, extremely important. One of the most important things is to get your students good results, right? Now, step number 7 is to fulfill for these students, right? Now, the important thing here is to deliver insane results, right? More results equals the more case studies, equals the more trust, equals the more money in your bank account. So we care about the progress of your students, and it's going to make them important and work harder, right? So we want to create a file where you put all of your students and they're going to track everything about them, like the payment plans, the progress, the number of calls, the service provided, the struggles, and the wins. And this is for having an overview of everybody's progress, knowing the success rate of the students, seeing what's working, understanding everybody, and always being up to date on the overall journey. And from here, fulfillment is up to you. And I can't help you that much, but it really just depends on your product and what you're offering. Now, the goal here obviously is to get results as soon as possible, and then always be on track with everybody, right? The important thing here is also for those who just want to collect cash, like, people are only going to pay the installments if the service is actually good, right? So the people in payment plans, if you're just about collecting cash, put some extra effort into them so that they actually pay your payment plans, right? And then the last step of the progress, this is something, process. This is actually something we haven't implemented this yet, but we're launching ads tomorrow, which is pretty cool. So this is a scaling part of the process. And the key point here is to be clear on the goal, right? You have to decide where you want to go. And it's massively, for example, you want to be extremely massive and do 500K a month, maybe a little bit lower profit margins, or you just want to get to 50 to 100K a month, but on really high profit margins, and you really not as much stress, right? It really just depends where you want to go. Now, if you want to launch ads and you want to kind of copy the ads process that we're using, I'll kind of break it down for you guys. So first off, research and strategy development, you want to analyze your competitors, define the target audience, and plan the ad strategy. Then creating the funnel, you want to map the entire funnel out. So for example, like I've done here in the Miro board, landing page development and then email sequence setup so we can retarget everybody. Then in terms of creative development, scripting out the ads and scripting the VSL, right? After that, ads campaign setup, we want to be setting up everything, setting up the tracking, Facebook ad account setup, duplicate tracking sheets, and lead magnet creation, right? After that, once we actually launch, we want to optimize everything. So campaign launch, we want to daily monitor this, optimize everything, and retarget the campaign setup. And then the last step of the process, reporting and scaling. So weekly and monthly reports, scaling campaigns, and scaling campaigns, right? These are two different things. For example, increasing the budgets on the ad sets, or testing new audiences and campaigns, or collecting newsletters and closers feedback and refining the campaigns. Now, if you're able to take these 8 steps for your coaching offer, it's going to be almost impossible that you're not going to at least 5x your revenue, right? Like every single time that we implement this process or something similar, obviously all of the clients that we work with, it's a tailored process. They always see insane results. Now, you've gotten to the end of the video and just a marketer speaking to a different marketer, obviously you know that I have something for sale. So if you're like, my offer isn't really that complicated. I help people install these exact frameworks, and I only help 2 specific types of people, right? Number one, if you're selling any kind of info product right now, so whether that's coaching, courses, low ticket communities, masterminds, and etc., and you're struggling with the exact part of the process, which I'm about to break down in 60 seconds. And number 2, you have a great idea for an info business, but no idea how to build an info business. And then I'll help you build everything from the ground up, even if you have no social media presence yet. Now, the important thing with step number 2, you need to be making at least $20,000 per month with your business. And these 2 people that I help, they must fit into the category of the business opportunity category, right? I only help people who help other people start making money online, right? So whether you're selling coaching about e-com, drop shipping, Amazon FBA, TikTok shop, freelance brand scaling, starting an agency, trading, crypto, forex, etc. Just people helping other people make money online. I help them sell coaching, masterminds, low ticket communities, and etc. And I do it on a completely done for you basis. So essentially everything that I just broke down in this video, I can help you with, right? I can help you optimize your content. I can help you do market research, build your offer, create your product, build out your funnel and asset, build out the launch preparation, build out your sales process, help you onboard all these clients, help you fulfill for these clients, and eventually scale up. So if this is something that you're interested in, and if this is something that you need help with, so you can actually scale up your coaching business, there's going to be an explainer video, first link in the description. It's about 4.5 minutes long, and it just breaks down this process a little bit deeper. And on the right side of that page, there's going to be my calendar where you can book in a call directly with me where we can talk about what implementing this process will look like. It's still going to be some, call with some random closer directly with me, and we're going to be talking about what implementing this process will look like for you. And even if we don't end up working with each other, I'll give you a bunch of resources on that call. I'll help you out on the call. If you need, for example, some tracker, I'll give you the tracker. If you need some SOP, I'll give you the SOP, and really just leave you better than you started. So watch the first link in the description, explainer video there, my calendar there if you want to book in, and if not, you can keep watching the free content. So peace.